Wars don't begin on battlefields. They begin behind desks, inside the Oval Office. Again and again in American history, presidents said the same words, "This is not our war." And again, it became exactly that. Let's look at how U.S. presidents led America into wars, one decision at a time.
Sign the legislation
James
now.
Madison
Stop
was president
delaying
of
the
a
vote.
young and
We
fragile
won't
nation.
leave until
The
it's
United
done.
States was not ready for war. The army was small, the navy weak, and the country deeply divided. Madison tried to avoid conflict with Great Britain, but British ships kept attacking American trade and capturing sailors. Public anger grew. Congress pushed for action. In 1812, Madison gave in. The result was disaster. British troops invaded Washington and burned the White House to the ground. America learned a hard lesson. Even a hesitant president can be dragged into war. Abraham Lincoln faced the most personal war in U.S. history. This wasn't against a foreign enemy. It was Americans fighting Americans.
We must find a
Lincoln
middle
tried
ground.
compromise.
We
He
will
tried
not
patience.
compromise.
He tried words. Nothing worked. When the Civil War began, Lincoln knew that no decision would save everyone. Hundreds of thousands died. The nation bled. He carried that weight every day and paid for it with his life. Woodrow Wilson promised peace. He was elected because he kept America out of World War I. But German submarine attacks and the Zimmermann telegram changed everything. Pressure mounted. Neutrality collapsed. In 1917, Wilson asked Congress for war. America entered Europe. Millions were sent overseas. Wilson claimed he was fighting for democracy, but the war left the world even more unstable. Franklin D. Roosevelt tried to keep America out of World War II. The country was still recovering from the Great Depression. People were tired and afraid. Then, Pearl Harbor happened. One attack ended the debate. Roosevelt mobilized the entire nation. Factories, soldiers, resources, everything shifted to war. Under FDR, the United States didn't just fight. It became a global superpower. After Roosevelt's death, Harry Truman inherited a tense and divided world. The Cold War had begun. When fighting broke out in Korea, Truman sent troops without officially declaring war. It was limited, confusing, and never truly resolved. This was the beginning of a new era, wars without clear endings. Lyndon B. Johnson became the face of the Vietnam War. After the Gulf of Tonkin incident, Johnson massively expanded U.S. involvement. Troops poured in. Death counts rose. Protests exploded at home. Johnson felt trapped. Leaving looked weak. Staying meant more deaths. Vietnam shattered public trust in presidential decisions.
We are entering
George
a new
H.W.
century
Bush
with a
led
modernized
America into the
military,
Gulf War at
ready
the
to
beginning
face
of the
the challenges of
1990s.
this digital
This
age.
time, war looked very different from anything Americans had seen before. It was fast, it was highly technological, and it was carefully controlled. Precision airstrikes filled television screens. Night vision footage made war look almost unreal. The conflict ended quickly, and the United States emerged victorious. For many Americans, it felt like the perfect war. Efficient, decisive, and successful. Minimal U.S. casualties, clear goals, a fast exit. But that victory quietly changed something important. It set a new precedent. America as a global enforcer. A country willing to intervene far from home and capable of doing it fast. That image would shape every conflict that followed. After September 11th, George W. Bush faced a nation driven by fear, shock, and anger. The attack shattered any sense of safety. The question was no longer if America would respond, but how hard. First came Afghanistan. The goal was clear: destroy terrorist networks and remove the
As
Taliban.
you can see, our
Then
intelligence
came Iraq.
confirms the emergence
Weapons
of,
of
this
mass
new sovereign
destruction were
state.
promised.
We are prepared to
Intelligence
recognize
reports
its orders
claimed they
immediately.
existed. The world was told the threat was urgent. But those weapons were never found. What began as a response to terror turned into long, complex wars with no clear end. Years passed, then decades. Troops rotated in and out. Costs exploded. lives were lost. The conflicts became the longest wars in U.S. history. America entered the wars quickly, but struggled to leave them. Barack Obama promised a different approach. He spoke about ending endless wars and reducing boots on the ground. And in some ways, he did.
Sir, we have movement
But war
at the compound.
didn't disappear. Instead,
Confirm visual
it changed
identification.
shape. Drones replaced large troop deployments. Special operations replaced massive invasions. Conflicts became quieter, more distant, and less visible to the public. There were fewer headlines, but not less violence. War continued, just without crowds watching. Between Barack Obama and Joe Biden, Donald Trump approached war very differently. Trump repeatedly promised to end endless wars. He criticized past presidents for starting conflicts without clear victories. And unlike many before him, he openly questioned why American troops were still deployed overseas decades later. But Trump also believed in strength through unpredictability. Under his presidency, the United States carried out targeted strikes, including the killing of high-profile enemies. He increased pressure on adversaries, escalated rhetoric, and made it clear that retaliation would be swift and overwhelming. At the same time, Trump pushed for negotiations that no previous president had seriously attempted. He opened talks with the Taliban and signed an agreement that set a timeline for U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The war did not end under Trump, but the exit was planned under his administration. That plan would later land on the desk of the next president. Joe Biden then faced a decision no president truly wanted to make: end the war. Leaving Afghanistan meant chaos, criticism, and painful images broadcast around the world. It meant accepting that the outcome would never look clean. But staying meant something worse: endless conflict with no victory in sight. Biden chose to leave. Ending a war turned out to be just as controversial as starting one. Some saw it as failure. Others saw it as necessity. Looking back, one truth becomes impossible to ignore.
It's for the
Wars
best.
are not just
Everything
battles.
will be fine
They are
now.
presidential decisions. Each president believed they were doing the right thing. Each decision was shaped by fear, pressure, politics, and history.
And just
And
like
each
that,
one
the
changed the
decision
world
was made.
forever.
A choice that would
So
send
now ask
shockwaves
yourself,
across the
which
Atlantic.
president made the hardest choice, and which war should never have happened? Because behind every conflict, there was a human being sitting in the Oval Office, deciding the fate of millions.